Yo, Prime members, so check this out. We are here to talk about our favorite thing in the world, and that is Amazon Prime.
That's right. We all have different interests, but there's one thing that brings us together: Prime.
As members ourselves, we found ways to maximize our Prime benefits to get the most out of our passions.
From fast and free shipping, streaming of movies and music, and even exclusive deals and discounts, Prime has it all.
And what's great is that you can use all of these services to elevate your hobbies and interests.
Whether you're a bookworm, a fitness fanatic, or a gaming guru, Prime has something for everyone. I promise you that.
So go ahead, explore and indulge in all that Prime has to offer. We promise you won't be disappointed.
Time to get more out of whatever you're into. Prime. And that's that on that.
It's crazy because, like you said, when taking an L, like, the emotions, that's the part that really gets you. Like, it's the embarrassment of it.
That's the word.
You gotta sit here and post about we're closing the Philadelphia location.
Yes.
What's up, everybody? You are now listening to the Success Playbook Podcast, where we talk about pop culture, life and career success, and of course, we're going to talk about who got dunked on the night before. I'm your host, Chanel S. Reynolds, and I've been in the sports industry for several years. My goal is to take what I've learned from years of dominating the sports industry as a Black woman to help my listeners defy the odds and level up in life and career. Now, let's dig into this week's episode. What's up, everybody? You are listening to the Success Playbook Podcast. I am so excited to be with you all here for another week. Today, I have a special guest. I'm really excited.
Thank you.
Today, we have local entrepreneur. Actually, let me put some respect on that. International entrepreneur, because he just became mobile and you can travel.
Yes.
We have none other than Jason Aviles.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
If you can't see him, if you're listening to the pod, he's representing for New York right now.
Absolutely.
He got the, what is this, the New York
Mets
zip up. He got the New York Mets hat.
Yes.
He got on his butters.
We call these constructs.
Okay, I knew that.
Let's set the record straight.
Okay.
We call these constructs.
So he's giving very much New York right now.
Yes, leather top only, gum bottom. Yes.
Where are you from?
I'm from the Bronx.
The Bronx.
Gun Hill. Yep.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Okay. Well, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So at the top of each show, if you listen to the Success Playbook Podcast, you know that we play a little game called This or That. Now, the rules are we are going to introduce two different topics or two different subjects, and we're going to have Jason choose with the quickness and explain his answer a little bit for us. Now, these are light questions, so no need to be nervous, okay?
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Podcasts or books?
Podcast.
Okay, what are you listening to right now?
It's totally all over the place. It's literally like whatever.
Well, let's start with.
Yeah, let's start with the Success Playbook.
Okay,
yeah,
he's listening to the Success Playbook Podcast.
I'm definitely on that.
Lit.
Okay. But a lot of people just send me all different types of podcasts. Usually it starts with like little clip bits, and then from there I take a deeper dive, and I find myself listening to The Shop. I really like The Shop.
Okay.
That one's really good. The Pivot.
Yep.
The Pivot is really good. Yeah, so it varies.
Okay. All right. Hot cereal or cold cereal?
Cold cereal.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
What
still classic Frosted Flakes.
That's a popular one on this show.
Yeah, that's just childhood. Then when you introduce the sliced bananas, it gets crazy. Definitely cold cereal.
Okay, with your almond milk because you're vegan.
Yep, or oat, depending on, what mood I am. But yeah, we definitely doing plant-based milk.
Okay.
Yes.
Some sort of plant. Okay, cool. Do you cook?
Absolutely.
What's your go-to meal?
Depends on my mood. Lately, I've been eating super duper light. So I may do like sauteed veggies or sauteed kale with some like roasted or baked sweet potato. And then I'll introduce some cabbage. A lot of whole foods, just kind of cooked gently. Being that it's summertime, I usually choose a lot more of the hydrating foods. So I'm eating a lot of fruits right now, a lot of juices, a lot of smoothies. And then when I want that warm meal, I usually just create like a comfort bowl with some like avocado and sweet potato and quinoa, wild rice, stuff like that.
It's giving luxury.
Something like that.
Okay.
I mean, we got to eat good, feel good, live good.
All right. Well, thank you for playing that game with us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so let's just jump into our questions. So, Jason, tell us a little bit about who you are. Like, who is Jason Aviles?
I'm a father. I'm an entrepreneur. And I'm a creative. I'm a creative visionary. And a lot of this just stems from my upbringing, being raised in the Bronx, starting out professionally, working with kids in the school environment, and that transition into working with kids in maximum security youth prisons. And I'm also a yogi. I think that's a really big part of my complex, is that I live kind of this holistic balance lifestyle that's a cross between, urban and spirituality meets entrepreneur.
Okay. So, explain to us what a yogi is.
Yeah. So a yogi is someone who is committed to embodying the principles of yoga. And the word yoga is defined as union. So full integration, mind, body, spirit. So ultimately, in the most practical sense, it just means that you're committed to being the best version of yourself.
Okay.
And, we have particular tools like meditation, breathing exercises, certain dietary, as far as like, I'm vegan. I've been vegan now for about 12 years. So yeah, these are the things that just kind of like make up what makes up my daily lifestyle. That kind of contributes to that label, that title.
Okay, and so have you always been like active and physically fit and?
Hell no. No, I mean, you know what? I had this conversation with a friend the other day. I remember when I was 18 and I was living in the projects and I was in my bathroom. It had to be 3 feet by 2 feet. I mean, God, so small. And I remember looking in the mirror, staring at my abs and telling myself, you will never, ever gain weight. Like, that was my mindset when I was younger. I was skinny, tall, light-skinned, long braids, giving B2K vibes,
Not
definitely.
B2K.
And I never thought in a million years I could put on weight. And then I found myself, 2011, damn near 300 pounds. And that was the beginning of the shift and realization that, hey, you just don't hold on to that health and without working for it, And that's when I started to learn that, hey, I'm getting older, my metabolism isn't the same, and I need to start putting in the work and making health an integral part of my daily life. Yeah.
Okay. What were the patterns that led you to that 300-pound lifestyle?
Stress.
Okay.
Stress is a big one. I was working at a maximum security youth prison, working with teens that were 14 years old, doing 25 years to life. And working in that environment, you feel like you're doing the bid with them. I mean, there would be days, in fact, weeks, where I didn't see daylight because I would wake up before the sun came up, 4 o'clock in the morning, get to work by 5, and I wouldn't leave till 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes that would go on for 14 days straight. And you're in this hostile, stressful environment where your back is always against the wall. You're in high alert, flight or flight, because at any time, anything could pop off. And my way of filling that void and dealing with my stress was eating. And I was living with my grandmother in upstate New York at the time, and she's 100% Hispanic. And she would just feed me rice with beans and meat and potatoes. And God bless her heart, she just wanted to comfort me.
Yeah.
And I took every little bit of it.
Yeah.
And that just, in combination with not being active and working in that jail, I just started to put on the pounds, and yeah, it got ugly.
Yeah.
It got real ugly, real quick too.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, you're not 300 pounds today.
Nah. I'm also not 18 either. But yeah, I feel good. I'm definitely a lot more active, being so much more mindful of my diet and my lifestyle. And I just turned 39 in April.
Happy birthday.
So thank you. So when you can say hi to 40 from a near distance, shit gets real.
No way.
Everything starts to get into context and perspective because you start to realize that, like, if I don't establish this routine, these habits, and this lifestyle now, I will never do it. Because now it's about work, it's about commitment, it's about really gaining the fruits of my labor, and a lot of my time, energy, effort is consumed with that. So if I don't have that in combination with the lifestyle changes, it just won't happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for answering that.
Yeah, thank you.
So, as you know, this is a sports podcast.
Yes, I do know that.
And I love telling stories of success in spite of failure and career.
Yo, Prime members, so check this out. We are here to talk about our favorite thing in the world, and that is Amazon Prime.
That's right. We all have different interests, but there's one thing that brings us together: Prime.
As members ourselves, we found ways to maximize our Prime benefits to get the most out of our passions.
From fast and free shipping, streaming of movies and music, and even exclusive deals and discounts, Prime has it all.
And what's great is that you can use all of these services to elevate your hobbies and interests.
Whether you're a bookworm, a fitness fanatic, or a gaming guru, Prime has something for everyone. I promise you that.
So go ahead, explore and indulge in all that Prime has to offer. We promise you won't be disappointed.
Time to get more out of whatever you're into. Prime. And that's that on that.
Navigation, entrepreneurship through the lens of sport. So let's dig a little bit into your sports background.
Yes.
First of all, do you consider yoga a sport?
No. See,
Okay.
I think yoga in the Western world has been received as almost a sport. You know, it's in the Western world, yoga is about how flexible you are, and what type of pants and yoga mat you use, and what studio you go to, and your membership. You know, it's
that
more
intense?
about. It's intense. It can be intense.
Okay.
It can be intense. But the way that I was taught, because I was taught by a Swami, which is someone whose family lineage has chosen him to kind of embark on the yoga philosophy and lifestyle. He taught me from a completely different perspective.
Okay.
You know, he taught me that it was more about understanding and developing who you are versus what you do on the mat. So a lot of what I put into practice when we talk about yoga doesn't take place in the yoga studio on the mat. It takes place when I'm interacting and engaging with my daughter. It takes place right now at this very moment, being present, being accessible, being available, being conscious, and even in business.
Okay. In the realm of sports,
Yes.
who's your team?
This is a very difficult question.
Why
to
is it
answer.
difficult?
All right, so by default, because I'm from New York, born and raised in the Bronx, it's the Knicks and the Yankees. That's just what it is.
Okay.
I've never, beyond having a sports team because of where I'm from, really dived into like picking or choosing a team or like aligning myself to a player. I'm the guy that's like, I come out, it's like championship games, and I have
No
fun.
way.
And
You're one of those?
And it's more of a celebratory thing. I do enjoy
It's
going.
more of a bandwagon thing.
No. I do enjoy going to games. Like I enjoy the culture of the sport.
the live
and
events.
I enjoy that.
We appreciate that.
But I don't ever like align myself to a team that's in the championships or a player. I just stay neutral. I stay neutral.
Wow,
and
it's given he can't pick a side.
Yeah, I can't. I'm picking New York.
Okay.
Like if you ask me basketball, I'm picking the Knicks. I may not know who's on the team.
Okay.
But if I'm gonna wear the constructs and the Yankee fitted, then everything gotta line up.
All right, so all New York teams.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
by
fair.
default.
We'll
Yeah.
give that to you.
Thank you.
So, Jason, walk us through some of your career highlights and like all that you do, because we know you have the restaurant in downtown Wilmington. We know you have Flyogi. So, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So when I graduated, the consciousness-based education university I went to in Iowa in 2014, I came back, took all that yoga knowledge, and turned it into a yoga company called Flyogi. And the word Flyogi is a combination of the word fly and yogi. for me, coming from New York, being fly, being aesthetically tasteful is important. It's essential. Otherwise, your ass will get roasted. Like, you can't survive high school, like, without being fly. But for me, as I got older, fly for me means to be comfortable and confident in your unique self-expression. And then the word yogi means to be committed to the lifestyle of yoga, being the best version of yourself. So when you take those two and you combine them, you have fly yogi. And for me, that's what I try to embody. So I developed this company. We tried to start a local yoga studio, and it didn't work. It failed. It was the wrong time. It was the wrong place, and we pivoted. And now we're an international mobile yoga company. I have a team of yoga instructors, and we teach yoga classes in schools. We teach yoga classes in federal, on a federal government contract level as well. So we're teaching to like probation officers, police officers, and we even teaching in corporate. So we do like corporate stuff. So that company is still active, still ongoing. Every now and then I get pulled in to teach. I still got it. Matter of fact, right now I just got a contract with DSU, and I'm teaching up there throughout the whole summer. So that's super duper fun. You know, they wanted me to come out specifically and kind of teach that.
That's lit. Wait, so hold on. Well, first and foremost, shout out to DSU. We love DSU over here.
Yeah.
Tell me about, so what does it mean to go mobile with your studio?
Yeah, so what it means is that, like, I bring yoga to already existing spaces.
Okay.
So let's say if you're a corporation like Chase, and you're like, hey, we want to introduce lunchtime yoga, right, to increase morale and just give our employees a break from the screen. We go to your already established space. We bring the yoga mats. We bring the yoga blocks. We bring the instructor. And for your particular group, we'll facilitate that session.
Okay.
So mobile means is that I can go anywhere you are. And I mean, I've been everywhere. I've taught yoga on a construction site, on gravel, stand up only. Like, that's how we get down. So wherever you are, wherever your group or your client base is that you feel like could benefit from this wellness practice, we will go. So it's allowed us to be a lot more lean and literally a lot more flexible. And it works. I get to travel and do this impactful work at the same time.
I love that. So you're online website, and they just go through the website and they book you?
Yep. Flyyogi.co. You go there, fill out the contact sheet. I'll reach out to you personally, figure out what your needs are, and then, trying to come up with an agreement where we can kind of, meet your needs.
Lit.
Yeah.
I love your brand because it's like, I do yoga, but I'm still that guy.
Yeah, you can say that. I wouldn't say that because they'll probably always boast themselves. But yeah, I designed the brand to be approachable.
Okay.
And this is super important, right? Because even though I've grown so much and I've developed these businesses and I've kind of acquired this knowledge and this information, right? It's like, I still am who I am. Like, I still am that Black and Hispanic man from the Bronx.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we introduce these concepts, these philosophies, and this information that could be beneficial on an approachable level. Like, we have to learn how to meet people where they are. So I don't speak from a pedestal. I'm not talking from this perspective of like, oh, I've lost 100 pounds. I've been vegan for 12 years. You can't eat meat around me. Like, if you wear leather, I'm going to frown upon you. Like, nah, like, I'm here to introduce what I've learned and my experiences on the level that which resonates with where you are. And that's our approach. That's the Fly Yogi philosophy, and it works because it allows me to build bridges. And that's what our work is about. It's about closing that gap, making people informed so they can make wiser choices from the place that they are so they can get to where they want to be. And there's so much room for that type of work.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so you told us about the studio.
Yeah.
Tell us about the restaurant.
Yeah, so we got a fast casual, award-winning vegan restaurant right here in downtown Wilmington, Delaware, Green Box Kitchen. That restaurant came from a nonprofit that we launched called Wilmington Green Box. It's a workforce development nonprofit. We train, educate, and employ at-risk teams from the local community. while going into neighborhoods classified as food deserts and introducing approachable, healthy food. So we did that for like 4 years on the ground. And what we realized from experience was that in this particular area, there was little to no access to healthy food. I mean, like smoothies and cold press juices did not exist.
No, it didn't.
We would go into barbershops and salons selling cold press juice, and we would meet grown men that would argue with us, telling us that carrots could not make juice.
What?
Like, I swear to God, like, I would bring my juicer with carrots into the barbershop, and they would watch me juice the carrots and be like, holy shoot, there is juice in that carrot. And what that did for me was like, damn, this is where we at. Like, this is, and at once upon a time I was there. I had no idea. I was oblivious. So it was like, okay, we had to do the groundwork. We had to educate people. We had to inform people. We had to offer products that kind of met them where they are, that were relatable. So we started with like cold pressed watermelon juice and lemonades, of course, a lot more healthier, a lot more natural. And we did that for about 4 to 5 years. And it was only after we did that that the people were like, okay, we get it. We got it. We want more. And then in 2019, we built the restaurant.
Lit.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And both are still active. So the restaurant's still active.
Yeah.
The nonprofit's still active. We're getting ready to onboard teens in the next couple of weeks. We got some land in North Wilmington, so we're starting to grow our own food. We have some outdoor green space, so we're going to start doing like event programming.
That's
So
awesome.
it's a lot of work.
It is. Okay, so all right. Flyogi, the nonprofit, the restaurant.
Yes.
Artist Ave?
Artist Ave, we actually pivoted that.
Okay.
And we offered the space to a local entrepreneur who's now using the space as an art gallery. So still continuing the same work, but without the Artist Ave brand. You know, she kind of took it over and she gave her own spin to it. And now she's activated that space. She turned it into her own thing.
Okay.
And that was a very humbling moment to understand like our place and what we want to focus on. Because I think at first, as an entrepreneur, you think you could do everything.
Yes.
And you try to do everything.
Yeah.
Until your ass get burnt out.
Yeah.
And then you have to pick and choose and be selective about what you want to channel your energy, your time, and your focus towards. And for us, it was like, damn, this thing could be beneficial, but you know what? It doesn't have to happen through us. Let's bring someone in who's just as passionate in this area and just allow them to completely just take over. And that learning lesson, I'm still applying to this very day.
So for those who don't know, tell us a little bit. So what was Artist Ave before the pivot?
Artist Ave was this artist creative incubator space. So we took a commercial and residential property and we totally gutted and renovated 2 loft apartments, and we turned those into like affordable housing for people from local community. So artists, entrepreneurs, creatives. And then the first floor was an artist gallery. And we use it as also like an incubator space. So let's say you were like an entrepreneur just starting out and you just needed a space, a physical brick and mortar space to house your products, whether that be stuff that you make, like earrings, or let's say you do like body butters, or let's say you do like physical art, like paintings. You could use this space, and you were also simultaneously coexisting with other artists and creatives in the same space. So you all benefit from that cross-pollination. And we just came up with that concept like out of thin air.
Yeah, before it was lit, because ultimately it was a co-working space, right?
Yes.
So, but now you have all these, like, you see all these co-working spaces and stuff, but y'all did it before it was like a big thing.
And this is very important to say, we did it for us.
Yep.
By us.
It was, what, like 3 black men?
Yes. With the culture.
Yeah.
That's super important.
Yeah.
Because in business, representation matters.
Absolutely.
You know, people need to see people that look like them, walk like them, talk like them, doing things at high levels. And it was important that we did that. We didn't really understand the responsibility initially, but as we began to do it, we started to see like corporations and nonprofits reach out, and they were like, hey, you guys are in tune and in touch. Let's use you guys to get in tune and touch with the community. And then we started facilitating murals. So just about every mural you see in the city, we've been a part of, whether it's been like connecting the artists, making sure they get paid right with the city of Wilmington, with the county, with the state, so they can get paid, and then the community get this art. So yeah, we were like trend setting that before it was even like a thing in the city or acceptable in the city.
Yeah. What I love about, hearing about everything that you do is like it all started because you started with a niche. Like you started with a niche. You were known as the yoga guy.
Yeah.
Right? And then
Absolutely,
that opened avenues. And,
Yes.
For the sake of this podcast, yoga is a sport.
Yes,
So you were
yes.
known as, the sporty yoga guy
Yes,
in Wilmington.
yes.
And that opened doors for like meetings with the mayor's office,
Yes.
and then having this restaurant and
Yes.
all those good things. Tell us about like kind of figuring out that one thing and then expanding.
Yeah, that's super important. There's this book I read not too long ago. I almost positive the title is called That One Thing or The One. And what I learned through that process was at times it's better to go deeper than go wider.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, let me give all my attention to this thing. And then that thing, naturally, because it starts to evolve into a brand, starts to build branches and other opportunities that are kind of sort of like the same thing or a byproduct of that one thing. So even to this very day, like when you look at everything I do, the nonprofit, the restaurant, Artist Ave, the yoga, at the very core, fundamentally, it's all really fly yogi, because the way that I've understood yoga is to be this lifestyle. So it's like you can't exercise and play sports without eating the right food.
Right.
Like you can't survive and support your livelihood without being employed and being educated and being a part of like a workforce environment that teaches you those hard and soft skills. So I'm kind of like multiplying and creating these branches off of this nucleus of wellness, of holistic living. So you're right. Yeah, it was through focusing on that one thing, giving it that devoted commitment, and then watching it kind of evolve and solve problems in all these other areas that are still kind of connected to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's the power of focus, like focusing on that
Yes.
thing. Okay. Well, here at the Success Playbook podcast, we love hearing about success, of course. But what's most impressive to me is hearing about someone's failures and how they've overcome.
Yeah.
Right. To me, that's true success.
Yeah.
So tell us about like some sort of L that you may have taken along this journey and how it ultimately helped to shape you.
Yeah. So there's levels to doing business.
Yeah.
Right? There's that introductory level where you're just doing it and everything comes to you, everything is by you. And then there's that slightly advanced level where you start developing a team, right? You start putting systems in place and you start growing. So the restaurant grew so freaking quick. I mean, in less than a year and a half, we opened 3 locations. And
Where were the locations?
we had one in Philly.
Okay.
We had one in Deco, which is a food hall, and we had the brick and mortar location on the corner of 4th and Market. And we were just moving with the energy, just following and being inspired by the momentum, but not crossing our T's and dotting our I's along the way. And a big part of that was due to ignorance. We had no restaurant experience. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. And we really didn't understand the fundamental foundation of how to build a healthy and sustainable business.
Yeah.
And it requires more than just doing the work. Like when you get to an advanced level where you start scaling, it's not so much about how much work you can do. It's about how efficient and effective you can do your work. So what we learned through growing too fast was that we couldn't manage the growth. Like we had no systems in place, no logistics in place, no HR, no accounting, no bookkeeping. we had nothing that could allow the businesses to be standardized and systematized.
Wow.
So when we decided to pivot and work on the business, the people working in the business could successfully do that for us.
Mm-hmm.
And what had happened was we closed Philly down, COVID happened, that hit us really hard. And then eventually we ended up closing the Deco location. And right now we're down to the one location. And the most difficult part about going through that process was not just failing business-wise, it was processing failing personally.
Wow.
It was dealing with the emotions and the status and the ego of it. It was being willing to publicly be known as someone who did these things, and then as a result of whatever not happening, these things now, taking that loss. And that was the hardest part.
Yeah.
It was like confronting those thoughts and those feelings within myself and still doing what was best for the business. And it required a lot of humility, and it's made me so much stronger now, because now I'm not scared to do what's most important for the business, even if it means doing what I necessarily don't want.
Hi, everyone. Jazzy Bell here from Women in Hip Hop Podcast. And if you're a fan of music, then be sure to check out and subscribe to Women in Hip Hop Podcast, a show that focuses on the many talents and influences from women within the culture. And is brought to you exclusively by Revolt Podcast Network, anchored in hip hop, powered by creators.
To do. And that's my responsibility as a business owner. It's to always do what's in the best interest of the business, even if it's not what I think as an individual is best for the business. That's my responsibility. So I hold myself now accountable to that standard, and I operate so much more objective when it comes to business now.
Yeah. So thank you for your transparency there.
Yeah.
It's crazy because, like you said, when taking an L, like the emotions, that's the part that really gets you. Like, it's the embarrassment of it.
That's the word.
You gotta sit here and post about we're closing the Philadelphia location.
Yes.
So it's like, but here's the thing. Here's the caveat. I have a personal theory where I believe that people who are highly ambitious, we are more prone to public failures. Because we're the ones that's constantly raising our hands. Right. We're the ones that's constantly put me in the game, coach, put me in the game. We're more prone to fouls. We're more prone to like getting hurt. We're more prone to being exposed. But the people on the sideline, they chilling. They don't gotta take L's because they're on the sideline.
They're playing it safe.
Exactly.
They're playing it safe.
So although, it's public embarrassment, sure, I have a typo in my book, but maybe you can show me your book on Amazon with X amount of reviews, and maybe I can learn from you.
Yeah.
Sure, I had to close my restaurant, but maybe you can show me the template. If you've opened, you didn't open a restaurant, you don't have a book on Amazon? Okay, I advise you to not comment on what's going on over here.
Yes. And in the midst of going through that, you're not thinking and processing through that filter. Right? Because your whole world is consumed by the embarrassment. So you're not logically, rationally, thinking the way you're thinking. Because when you do, right, even when it comes to social media, it's like there's a very small percentage of people who are actually doing the work.
Exactly.
And everybody else is commenting.
Exactly.
Everybody else is liking.
Yes.
Everyone else has an opinion, right? Like, you know this when you're on social media and you're an influencer or a creative or an artist or a business owner. You can start to kind of feel that underlying pressure of trying to live up to the standards that other people project on you that aren't
They're
even
not there.
in your world.
They're
they
not
aren't
real.
even doing anything. That's why they have all the time and the energy to comment.
Right.
And to say what they want to say. But when you're going through it, you think that the whole world is on your level or has been where you are.
Right.
And you know what got me through it? It was talking to people who actually had been through it.
Yes.
And they were like, that's normal.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Right.
You just made a mistake. that need to happen now before you got too big.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't make that mistake when you're too big and the consequences are multiplied.
Yes.
So, and this is the other part of it, because not a lot of people will publicly fail.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who will fail in the closet all by themselves and keep it to themselves. As soon as I failed publicly, everybody who was failing in the closet came out and was like,
wow,
damn, you know what? I'm about to close. We about to shut down. Shit, COVID is really catching up with us. Like, we can't do this. Like, seeing you go through it gave me the permission to allow myself to now approach this with grace and certainty and confidence to go through it.
You became that example.
Yes. And that's what we are. The people who bust through the glass first and get all beat up and cut up are the people who serve as an example to give other people the permission to unapologetically go through their life process and journey themselves with confidence and with reassurance and with self-acceptance.
Love it.
That is what we do aside from just doing the thing that we do in our business.
Yes.
Without even knowing it. And when you're conscious aware of that, you give yourself the compassion to go through failures as they come, because they're never going to stop coming. If you're not failing, you're not learning.
Exactly.
If you're not failing, you're not growing. If you're not
moving.
failing, you're playing it too safe and
You
you're
on a
playing
sideline.
a small game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That was like so many sound bites in one.
Yeah. It's real.
Yeah.
When you actually go through it, you have a relationship with the nuances of it. Like, I had family members like, Jason, are you okay? Like, we hearing, like, the restaurant closed, like, you all right? And I'm like, leaving the bathroom, like, I'm all right. I'm going to be okay. Like, it's a real, and we were at our pinnacle. We were the standard. We were on top. We were championed. And when we out of all people started to go through that, it really hit the ground like hard. Like you could almost like, you can feel, like I would walk into spaces and I could feel like just the eyes and attention on me, and like people not knowing how to approach me or like how to have a conversation with me because they knew I was going through it, but they didn't know if I was okay enough to not like lash back or like to respond like out of order. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But now I've matured so much going through that. And I'm a lot more wiser.
Yeah.
Now
So what I'm hearing is that you've really embraced the art of taking L's.
Yeah.
Like, I have this book called The Art of Taking L's, and
yes, I know, yeah.
no, thanks.
Yes.
And it's all about, your perception of the L. It's all about how you navigate and interpret the L.
Yes.
So although, yes, it was embarrassing, but you also embrace the fact that, hey, like, I'm an inspiration for other people to take ownership of their L's. I'm also an example of like how to gracefully go through this, right? So it sounds like it's something that not only made you better, but it's something that has allowed you to elevate in your thinking.
Yes, absolutely. And it has allowed me to understand now more than ever what is necessary to scale and make a business sustainable.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much wrapped up in why we make the space, or at least why I make these mistakes. Like, I come from a world where you don't have much.
Mm-hmm.
So at times, like, as soon as you get your hands on something, you hold on to it so tight that you don't understand how to share it with others. So you train and condition yourself to take on all of the burden of the work because you lack the skills and the awareness to understand how to share it, how to lead, how to delegate. Like, I was trained and conditioned by my environment to hustle.
Yeah.
Period. Like, I'm a hustler. That was at my core what I was. I didn't have the intellect nor the business understanding and awareness. I just knew if I put one foot in front of the other long enough, I would make it.
Yeah.
And that's how I got by life. But when you start to scale in business, there's a level of sophistication that's necessary in order to tap into that new level. And that's what they don't teach us. In most cases, they teach us how to get there,
Right.
but not how to grow from there. So now I was in a completely different environment, all by myself, and I realized that I couldn't get myself out of this situation. That required me to lean and learn from other people.
Yes.
Which was also another part of that process of just going deeper within my humility and putting my pride and my ego to the side. And that's what I'm learning now about business. Successful businesses never happen by solely one person.
Yeah.
Ever. In fact, that one person, even if they're the creator, they're the CEO, they're the person, the owner, in most cases, they are where they are because they developed a team of people who are smarter than them in the areas that they're weak in. And that's what's required in order to actually be able to lead people. It's understanding your strengths and your weaknesses, doubling down on your strengths, finding people who are strong in the areas that you're weak in, and formulating a team that's supported by infrastructure in order to successfully and sustainably scale.
Yeah.
That's the sophistication of that next level of doing business that I was completely oblivious to. No one taught me that. Everyone taught me how to get to that point, but no one taught me how to go to that next level from there. And I had to learn that through trial and error.
I love it. So it sounds like, okay, you had to go through it through number one, going through the fire,
Yes.
going through the L, taking it,
Yes.
but also leaning on your tribe, having a
Yes.
team of mentors.
Yes.
I talk about mentorship so much on this podcast because I have aspiring like sport professionals or
Yes.
sport entrepreneurs or whatever. Tell us a little bit more about like how these mentors help to pull you out of that dark place.
Yeah. And at times, the mentors that you need will require you to be uncomfortable. Because at times you have to leave the world that you're in and go into a new world to meet people that maybe don't look like you, don't talk like you, don't come from where you're from, but they have that thing that you need to get to that next level.
Yep.
If there was one piece of advice I could give anyone that could save them years and money, it would be this. If you're looking to start out a business, one of the first things you should do is find someone
Yes.
who is exactly where you want to be and learn from them.
Right.
Don't come to the conversation with answers. Come to the conversation with questions,
Yes.
because that be the other part. It's like you got mentees seeking out mentorship, and then when the mentor is giving them advice, they think their own advice is more valid than the person who's actually doing it. And
Speak
it's like,
on it.
nah, like humble yourself.
Yes.
Grasshopper, like you're just getting started. I've been in this game.
Yeah.
Let me give you the blueprint. And it's really an ego thing. It's that, like, that's what took me time to work through. It was the whole, like, I don't have nor understand value of self. And because as a man, I'm insecure, I'm trying to make up for that insecurity through over applying myself. And then when I learned to really develop security as a man within myself, because that's an inside job, and I was like, you know what? I'm just really great at what I'm great at. And these other things, I'm just not good at. Now let me humbly approach someone who's better than me in these areas and just learn. That's when mentorship worked. Because for a lot of people, they may be listening to this and saying, mentorship hasn't worked for me. Well, maybe it's not mentorship. It's how you're approaching it and whether you've created space within to actually learn and be teachable.
Yes.
Because you got to be coachable. Like, if you're not coachable, you're not going to refine what you've already developed and make it better. So there's some pre kind of like conditioning that's required before you reach out to that person. Because now, being that I'm seasoned and I have experience and I mentor, a mentor is going to want to know that you're ready to be mentored.
Mm-hmm.
And if he or she senses that you're not ready, they're not going to waste their time.
Yep.
Because their time is
so valuable.
Yeah. Because they're working at a high level now. So, yeah, there's some stuff that you got to do as an individual, as a mentee. But when you do that, mentorship could literally save you years of going through what I went through.
Absolutely. I love what you mentioned too about coachability, because that's so key.
Yes.
Like, I have a lot of potential mentors that like reach out to me, and I always have this like maybe first 15-minute discussion where I'm just kind of getting to know them. I'm trying to see if they have all the answers, like you said. I'm trying to see if they're coachable. I'm trying to see how hungry they are. And if they don't meet that criteria, then it's not much I can do for them.
Yes.
So yes, 100% to everything you just said.
You can't pour into a cup that's already full.
Yes.
Right? And you can't pour into a cup with a hole in the bottom. Like, you have to pour into a cup that's ready to be poured into. Like, you have to be ready to be poured into. Otherwise, it will not work.
Yep.
And you may be projecting it not working on all the other people, places, and things around you. Really not confronting self and dealing with self. So that's essential. Like, that's absolutely fundamental, that you groom and condition yourself appropriately, so that way you can actually absorb and extract the value out of the relationship, out of the experience, out of the opportunity. Otherwise, you may be blaming the opportunity and it's really just you.
Wow. Bars. Hashtag bars.
Yeah. If you can't tell, this shit is real.
Yes.
This is really like, yeah, this is really what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all through taking L's and learning.
Yes.
And having
it's
those mentors.
all through being in the game.
Yes.
Like, you, at some point, you got to make your mind up. It's like, it's either you're going to put your jersey on, lace up your kicks, and jump in, or not. That whole in between, 1 foot in, 1 foot out shit will destroy you.
Yeah.
That confusion, that lack of commitment, that lack of dedication will cause you to be all over the place. And you're only going to experience incremental growth with a lot of suffering. So it's like, you just got to make your mind up. And that's why I now have a total different level of respect for people who don't choose entrepreneurship, for people who don't choose being a parent and having kids, for people who don't choose to be an elite playing athlete, because there's so much that comes with this shit. It's as soon as you wake up and it's right before you go to sleep. It's never ending. So when you make that choice, like, make up your mind about it and commit yourself to it. Because if you don't, it will literally strip you away of everything you have, of everything that you consider to be valuable. It will expose your vulnerability. It will expose your pain points. And if you're not ready, if you're not committed, if you're not 2 feet in, 10 toes down, you're going to fold. As soon as that pressure hit, your ass going to fold.
You're going to run.
And you're going to rebel. You're going to resist. And you're going to project. Like, it's going to get real for you.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why people who I know, like, they're like, you know what? This is my type of lifestyle. I don't want that extra stress. I don't want that extra responsibility. I just want to own my position on a team. Maybe I'm not in the game. Maybe I'm a coach. Maybe I'm stretching the people out. Maybe I'm the one, like, on the basketball court, like, making sure the court is dry, whatever it may be. Like, I respect people who say, and they know with certainty, like, that's not for me.
Yep.
They know their risk tolerance.
Yep.
They know their threshold, and they just like, I'm gonna own this. I'm gonna own this role, and that's just as valuable. There is anything less valuable about being a worker or not being an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Like,
I agree.
those titles, those labels, those spaces are what help all these other titles and roles and spaces operate. It all works. You just have to know who you are and make your mind up.
Yeah. Listen, I'm getting so many gems out of this conversation.
Me too.
I love it.
Yeah.
So how can we support you, Jason?
Yeah, I'm still learning how to receive.
Okay.
So support just looks like, hey, if you're in the local Delaware area, come out to Green Box Kitchen. Like, we're award-winning. We have really good food. Like, I'm not just saying that. Like, the food is absolutely great.
It is. I've had it.
If you're looking for mindfulness, yoga, wellness instruction, reach out to us. Fly Yogi, FLY is one Y, OGI.co. We'll meet your needs in that space. Social media, it's Fly Yogi, FLYOGI. It's Green Box Kitchen, one word, Green Box Kitchen, and the nonprofit is Wilmington Green Box. So I guess from there, like, as you begin to kind of see our work and see what we're doing, you can either just show up and patronize and support, or if there's ways that we can partner, we can collaborate, we can work together, then, just reach out to me through any one of those social media sites, and then I'll take it from there.
Awesome. And your personal Instagram is that Bronx Yogi?
Yep, the
Okay.
Bronx Yogi. So the THE Bronx BRONX Yogi YOGI.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure having you here,
Yes.
Jason.
No, thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you for this opportunity to share and to be real
Yeah.
with people, because people need the real deal.
Yeah.
They just need to really understand and know what this world is about. Because I had no idea, and I wish I had someone that was approachable and that could create a safe space for me to really just help impart that wisdom on me and just hold my hand and walk me through it. But now I'm here.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you again, Jason. And again, you're listening to the Success Playbook podcast. Make sure you like, comment, share, leave a 5-star honest review. Love y'all. See you next week.
Peace.
Yo, Prime members, so check this out. We are here to talk about our favorite thing in the world, and that is Amazon Prime.
That's right. We all have different interests, but there's one thing that brings us together: Prime.
As members ourselves, we found ways to maximize our Prime benefits to get the most out of our passions.
From fast and free shipping, streaming of movies and music, and even exclusive deals and discounts, Prime has it all.
And what's great is that you can use all of these services to elevate your hobbies and interests.
Whether you're a bookworm, a fitness fanatic, or a gaming guru, Prime has something for everyone. I promise you that.
So go ahead, explore and indulge in all that Prime has to offer. We promise you won't be disappointed.
Time to get more out of whatever you're into. Prime. And that's that on that.